time to start as any. You want to gavel us in there, Stace?
Call the order, the meeting to order. I'm half asleep. I'm sorry. Is that how we do it? You don't want me in charge today. It's bad.
Quickly executed. Let's review the October minutes, please, and then we'll need a motion to approve and then a second, of course. Or changes or whatever, you know how this works.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
You? Okay, great. One of the things, I'd like to kickstart this morning, and this is going to be an ongoing conversation and agenda item till we cease to exist, as we are as the EDC. But looking ahead to the 2024 board realignment and discussing economic development priorities. So this new board, and some of you may be on it. I hope many of you are. All of you are. Some of you may not, though. And then it's going to be merged, morphed, and partnering with. I'm trying to think of how best to put it, but it's economic development and environmental sustainability
And historic preservation.
and historic preservation. Thanks. I mean, that's all that. So you're going to have those three interrelated but different things all working together. So what I'm hoping for, while we still have, an economic development focused group, not to say that the next one will not be, it'll just be different. At least if we sort of leave them maybe some ideas, thoughts, talking points, priorities from this group. And as you all know, we've spent a lot of time working on stuff that frankly will more than likely be in many ways in a different silo. Like a lot of mobility stuff will be in the mobility board, while the next iteration will still have a hand in things. Some things will be different. And we've been focusing a lot on mobility and, the complete streets policy and all that type of stuff. And we've, in many ways, let the Partnership Economic Vitality Committee lead economic development, economic vitality issues, which is fine. That's great. But their focus is uptown, and that's pretty much it. Whereas this group has always had a much larger charge, which is economic development throughout the municipality. So while we still have this charge and task, I thought we should probably have some discussions about how we want to and what we want to leave to the next body. I'll kind of kickstart it since it's what I do all day. One of the things that I'm hoping for is that the next iteration really looks at bold initiatives, innovative initiatives. And what I'm really hoping for is that we can get back to leading. And when I say that we're going to be bringing ideas, policies, and implementable strategies to county and statewide leadership. And, I think we have a real opportunity for that right now. As an example, the Shapiro administration has shortlisted some folks. I've been lucky enough to sit on one meeting in particular regarding the economic long-range plan that this current administration is looking to embark on. So they're looking across the Commonwealth at many different things. What I'm very pleased about is that they're engaging communities that have for shorthand here, main streets. They're not just looking at downtown Philadelphia, downtown Pittsburgh, fracking, the usual suspects, tech, that type of thing. They're giving a gaze to downtowns of a smaller scale that have mom and pop businesses. And a lot of times, the innovation that happens there is not recognized or not appreciated what maybe is needed. And I'm hoping that we can lead and innovate on some of that. And an example of that is an ongoing challenge that older downtowns have, especially in smaller communities. And upgrading our second, third, fourth floors. This is nothing new here. This has been going on for decades. But nothing ever seems to get done. And, you know, a lot of the communities, even in Mount Lebanon included, even though we're affluent compared to many others, don't always have the capacity or resources, both financially or technically otherwise, to help property owners do what they want to do, and many times, to get their buildings marketable. So that's just one example. You know, I think we have the talent in this community and the acumen to develop a strategy, because that was when I was in the meeting, that was, let's bring something to the table. Okay, well, let's help them do that. So that's one of the things that, you know, I was thinking of. So, and I'm going to shut up here in a bit. But, you know, what I personally from staff am hoping for is that we are thinking bold and innovative, and not just with big fancy ideas that we can't back up, but let's come up with bold ideas that we can then develop a strategy for, and then let's get that to the county and the state. Then I'm going to shut up for a second. Am I just going off on a soapbox rant, or am I making any sense?
Well, I guess I'm curious. Right, it's an interesting problem, right? And there are kind of scaled solutions that are already out there.
But they're not.
I just heard that the Biden administration is giving a whole bunch of money for commercial conversions.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to that trickling down.
Right, yeah, right. But again, I mean, but again, the opportunities are out there. It's a question of how do you scale something that to you know, and get the dollars, right?
Right.
I mean, we can conceptualize a program that we can administer, or that a Main Street in Pennsylvania could administer, but we also need the dollars and the program that's going to support it.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And again, I'm just using this as a way of example. I mean, there are other things. I just want to kickstart a conversation here. I'm not saying that's what is exactly what is done. But it's one of the issues that for over 2 decades of doing this, I keep hearing we need these resources. We're going to get these resources, and nothing ever happens. You know what I mean? So I mean, that's where I'm saying, like, lead. I mean, we know our downtown better than Harrisburg, better than downtown in Allegheny County. You know, we know Mount Lebanon better than anyone. And we can sit down with the property owners, hash out, figure out what these issues are at a very micro level, and then develop some recommendations, policies, things that we would like to see coming out of the Shapiro administration. Because more than likely, those Biden dollars are going to funnel through DCD, and maybe to the county level through CDBG programs and things like that. But, you know, we could develop, but the point here is that I think we need, all of us, that's what I'm at, this council to think boldly and innovatively about what we'd like to work on, what we'd like to see the next group work on. And then over the next number of months, develop that, cultivate some of those ideas so that when this next group comes in, they're not starting with a complete tabula rasa. They have at least some ideas to work on. They may choose to abandon them all. I would hope not, but maybe pick some up. And through the next number of months, I'm hoping that we can have discussions, being mindful that there will be another group of folks. But that I would assume that they would have some respect for the efforts of this current iteration. And again, some of you may be on the next one, so that you would just be picking up the ball again. So, you know, so I just wanted to throw out some things to just start thinking, not laying down, you know, my blood and honor on any of these, but, you know, that was one concept. You know, business attraction and retention, I sort of do that as my day job, but those are, I can always do a better job, and there may be things that the council can bring to the table. Something else we do woefully, and this may be more of the lower hanging fruit in my mind, is how we market and how we position Mount Lebanon for business recruitment. You know, we really don't do much other than what I do. So those are some ideas. So I mean, I'll just open it up if anybody has any other thoughts, but I just want to kickstart today. I'm not looking for, I don't think we're going to solve the world's problems this morning, but I at least want to start these discussions, because before we know it, it'll be March.
This is Amy. I do think there's value in kind of identifying a strategic roadmap. You know, a couple of really top initiatives and kind of mapping out some of that. So I would certainly be on board for that. I know you're not looking for, particular answers this morning, but I do think there's value in kind of outlining the strategic roadmap forward in terms of, what the existing board believes to be priorities in the, are you thinking like 5, 10 year kind of time frame, 3, what, and also maybe identifying, that particular time frame that we're looking to, implement these initiatives in as well.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Yeah, I mean, I think you can do short, mid, long-term ideas. Some of this stuff, like marketing. I mean, some of the stuff, you're like, we all know that we're in this post-pandemic world. So, I think, one of the tasks maybe, and it may be as simple as saying, monitoring economic trends. It could be that simple, and maybe tease it out with some strategy.
Yeah, that's why I bring it up, because I think it would be worthwhile to, identify some of those smaller ones that could, like you said, be knocked off pretty quick and kind of get, some check marks for those. And then, your, like the mobility plan and things that we've been talking about, over the last year that are going to take, much longer to implement. And, that's a longer range goal. But I think, having a variety of things, with different timeframes would be helpful as well.
Okay, so what I'm going to essentially do is, develop a, for lack of a better term, just, an Excel sheet, just a basic form that's tracking all of this. And then we can have, and I can bust out other cells as this grows and develops. And, but at least having that sort of short, mid, long-term objectives, goals, projects. And those chips can fall where they may. And then I can provide additional information. My goal is, again, to give the next iteration some well thought out potential projects to focus on, so that true economic development doesn't get lost in the mix. That's just a concern of mine. So I think it'll be there, and there's going to be different lenses on it related to sustainability and historic preservation that are going to be very beneficial. But we just need to I just want to make sure there's some strong core economic development initiatives in the mix going forward. So that's there. So
I would add one more thing too. I was just at a meeting with PennDOT down at SPC offices, just in terms of like all the NEVI stuff with the EV. And right now it's kind of like they're building up the alternative fuel corridor, but in the next several years, the money's going to start coming to communities to, put in EV charging within communities. Right now the focus is on kind of the, the interstate and the big highways, but I would ask to throw that down as, something that we would look at in the next, that's probably more like a 3 to 5 year kind of thing, but that's coming. And I think getting ahead of that would be worthwhile for Mount Lebanon.
big time.
The other thing, when you're thinking about this, And I'm guessing the assignment, Eric, is you're gonna start a spreadsheet, but we should all be thinking about this before the next meeting. And then we will have a discussion, yes?
yes,
Okay, so my ask to everybody is go look at the draft comprehensive plan. It's on Ascend, or it's at ascendlebo.com. ASCENDLEBO.com. Go read it. Because that is the framework within which the municipality is going to be working for the next decade. It's, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 pages. But there's lots of pictures, so it's not too dense, I promise.
it's really well
Yeah,
executed.
it's well done.
And actually, we're still in the window. If you have not weighed in on it, this is the public comment period. This is the last chance for the next decade. Okay, so please do what Commissioner Flynn said and read it for the homework assignment. Because it is the North Star document we're going to be using, and we do use it. But you also have the opportunity to put input into it, and this is that last chance. So you get a twofer, right?
Yes, and actually, if you have an idea that you think that this really should be not just a board discussion, but it should be baked in, put the comment in, right? Because we, hopefully, some of these things will still get refined into the actual comp plan itself.
Zoning, whatever.
Yeah.
The EV charging that Amy brought up, all that, So, yeah, you get to do some homework, which is always awesome. But then you get to put some input into the vision document, the North Star document that the municipality will be using for the next 10 years. So I don't really have any more to say. I think at the next meeting, I really want to carve out a lot more time where we can hear ideas. And, you can always send me an email, and the commissioner is always available to. I don't want to volunteer him,
Of
but
course I am.
that's why, so, you don't have to do this in a vacuum or a silo. If you want to, that's fine. I know I work very independently. That's how I like to work. But, so you could do that, of course. But if you feel like you have a question or something, please don't hesitate to reach out. That's what we're here for. So I don't really have much more to say. I've said enough, I think, already. Everybody kind of get it? Cool. All right, so mobility, don't have a whole lot more to say about that. We're going into the budget. My budget hearing is, if anybody wants to show up, is November 30th. That's a Thursday. I think it starts at 6. I'll be presenting my budget to the commission. A part of that budget, a big part of that budget, is an active transportation plan. You can watch online, or you're welcome to attend in person. But I'll be making that presentation, and then by December, we'll know what's funded. So I'm asking for the active transportation plan. That's probably the big ask in my budget. I feel good, but it always helps to have support. And then I also put in some dollars to kickstart a facade grant program that would be administered by the Mount Lebanon Partnership. So that would be a pass-through essential grant to the partnership to execute a facade grant program based on the design guidelines that were just completed. So, and then we submitted, I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, a US DOT grant, the amount of $80,000. So we won't find out about that till spring. But if we get funded via the commission, we're not going to sit on our hands till we wait to hear on that. We'll begin the RFP process and begin pulling all that together first quarter of next year, so that we're at the ready to execute, probably beginning in March, that we would go out for bid, or put out the RFPs and review that and then get under contract, and then get underway with an actual active transportation plan, which I think is going to be really exciting and really pull a lot of things together. There's a lot of energy out there for all of these initiatives, but there's no plan. So this will solve that.
I just want to reiterate what Eric said about commenting. Folks, if there's something you like, comment at a public session. I know I know it's a pain. It's 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night. You got other things going on. But the people that comment at public sessions in any local government are people who are pissed off about something that usually we have nothing that we can do about. Positive support really, really, really matters. I know it never feels like it, but it really makes a difference. Something positive, anything, right? We support this. Partnership would be great rather than just, hey, $10,000, we want $10,000. Hey, we really want to do this program. And we are looking to build this out, and the municipality support would be huge. Those types of things make a big difference. So just think about it. If there are topics that you are supportive of, same thing with the comp plan, but budget is much more immediate.
That's coming up, November 30th, Thursday. Be there, be square. All right, moving on to economic vitality, you know, very excited Kate can weigh in because she was a big part of this. And again, thanks, Kate, for your efforts. You know, we had the partnership hosted a business and property owner networking session for Uptown. That was November 9th, I think. Very well attended. Kate and another board member from the partnership beat the streets and help get the word out on that. And we had a
Hey, Eric, I'm sorry, can you let me in? I've got to move to my phone and get on the road. So I'm gonna be logging off and jumping on. Can you let me in the thing when I try?
I'll watch. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no.
Thanks.
Yeah, so really great event. Oh, wait. Otherwise, hello? Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry about that.
All right. So, again, very successful, lot of business to business conversations happening. I saw it with my own eyes. And the feedback, was all positive. Kate, I don't know if you have anything to add, but I mean, it was a great event.
Yeah, I would just say, so yeah, we had over 30 folks show up, which was great. The Spring Hill Suites hosted the event, and Totopo donated food for the event. So, you know, it was a really good kind of uptown sort of business mixer. And the hope being that this is the first of sort of continuing of these types of events, that they'll become more regular, whether it's quarterly or, you know, twice a year, will kind of depend on the partnership's budget and what can kind of be done. And they won't always be sort of set up just like this. This one in particular was really an opportunity for business owners to kind of meet each other, have a chance to sort of chat and get to know each other, as well as to kind of meet and chat with the partnership folks and Eric, with kind of in a less structured approach. And then moving forward, we may kind of deviate a little bit and have some different approaches. But I think we were really thrilled with, you never know when you have an event on a Thursday evening, how many people are going to show up. Even if you have gone door to door and then sent out 400 emails. So we were really thrilled to see folks kind of come and enjoy themselves. And, you know, if you haven't checked out already, the hotel's bar is open. So it was nice to be able to go have a cocktail and kind of get to know some of the folks in the Uptown business community.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, it was really exceptional. Again, just very, very positively received. I've been attending these things for a long time now, and I saw faces I haven't seen either ever or a very, very long time. So that was nice. And people, again, were very excited to get back out in the crowd. And we have a lot of new businesses up here. That's the value. So these newer businesses, we had the owner of Bows and Bones, who just opened up her little pet boutique, who was able to sit down with some folks that have had a business up here for 40 years. You know, and get those business to business networks growing, which are very important to keep the muscle of Uptown strong. So, as Kate mentioned, it'll be happening again. I always invite the Economic Development Council because you're a part of this community, the business community too. So if you can ever attend one of those, please do. And if you can't, well, guess what? There'll be another one down the road. So that was really great news. I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, but I'll just mention it again. The partnership has renewed a contract with Town Center Associates to maintain and refresh baseline data in Uptown, but also Beverly Road. So you know, we'll keep our eyes on that. Also mentioned, you know, the design guidelines are done, completed, checks in the checking account. The document is complete. The partnership hopes to present that to the commission. That's not going to happen until after the new year, but that will happen. And that'll be the guiding document for the facade grant program should we receive funds from the commission to execute that. And if we don't receive funds from the commission, there's still the state facade program, which the guidelines will be very useful for. And they're already finding use because I was in a comp plan meeting with Pashik yesterday, and they're going to be using some of the concepts and ideas in the design guideline to help model some conceptual renderings for Uptown for the comp plan. So it's already showing its value. So pretty excited about that. I can't really disclose right now exactly what's going on, but I can tell you that a scope of services is going to be developed. And more than like, you know, we're going to be moving forward with the planning for placemaking in the Uptown districts. This is a planning exercise. We have a planning grant. I've been talking about it for a long time, but waiting until this was done, meaning Vibrant Uptown. Vibrant Uptown is, for all intents and purposes, done. So we're going to move forward with planning in the Clearview Common area, Parsway, looking at those areas specifically, but also looking back up to Washington Road and how we can enhance the Vibrant Uptown project. And when I say that, I don't mean tearing up the sidewalk again for anyone watching at home. I'm really talking more about, should we be putting sunshades in this area? Because in the summer, it's really hot. And if we had sunshades, people might actually hang out longer, or this would be a better place for public art than what you thought it might have been, that type of thing. So we're going to be contracting with some subject experts to walk us through that. Beginning in January, February, I'm really hoping mid to late January. And we'll complete that process by June. And then what we'll do with that plan is cost it out. And then I'll get to work looking for grants and other funds, local, Commissioner Flynn, local and grants from other places and sponsorships. We'll be looking at a total package to fund the projects. But we have to start somewhere. So we'll be going through a community planning process. So it's been on the agenda for a long time, but now we're going to start moving on that. So very excited about that. And zoning, again, that's still on hold until we get the comp plan done. But you can take action by getting on the comp plan site now in the public comment period and adding your thoughts about how zoning should be dealt with. Any other questions about that? Hearing none, we'll move on to Vibrant Uptown. Nothing to report. We're still waiting to hear about this railing in front of the municipal building. So
What are you talking about? I think it looks great.
yeah, this is the beginning of the environmental. You can't get more sustainable than lumber, and it's a renewable resource. So yeah, yeah. So we're waiting on that. So I'll just move on to the commercial districts update, unless there's any questions about Vibrant Uptown. And I'm going to be taking that off the agenda next year. So a lot of good news. I'll start on Beverly Road. West Banco, as you know, has left. I've spoken with the property owner. They're working on, they have something very interesting in the hopper, which unfortunately I can't really talk about, but they're working on something that they should get more clarity on next week when the folks that the property owners working with some folks, those folks are going to come in. They're going to do some more looking and discussing and showing of plans, and we'll see how this evolves. But if it evolves and actualizes, it'll be very cool. That's all I can say about it. And speaking of things, if I get one more call about Bados, they retire. That's it. They've been doing it for 40 years and they got an offer they couldn't refuse. If you read the trib, that's a direct quote from their daughter and it's an absolute truth. They've been discussing this for a while, and they've executed on what they want to do with their life. So I personally wish them the best of luck and in their retirement, they can spend time with their grandkids now and all of that. So they've served the community well for a long time. There is going to be something else there. I'm not at liberty to discuss it, but there is a next chapter to that building. No, it's not a bank. I had somebody ask me that. That would be a very interesting bank. But there is something coming, and I hope in January, we might be able to discuss that in a more public way. But it's there's going to be good things to come, good things ahead.
Eric, do people think, and why are they calling you? They think they were forced out or something?
It runs the gamut, this happened with Dollar General. And it happens anytime something closes, people have feelings about businesses. It's something especially like Bados, it's been there for so long. You went there after a high school game in 1989 or, whatever it was. People are emotional about these things. They want to know what's going on and what happened and, that type of thing. I think it's genuine, just concern, what happened. And that's what I'm saying. It's just retirement. I mean, there's really nothing else more to this. They've been doing it a long time. So it's just people calling, wanting to know what's up. And there's a lot of emotion to it. I mean, there are people that, when something's been around for 4 decades, especially a restaurant and a bar, where people, maybe regulars, they've been going there for, it's just, Bados is one of those businesses that's been here so long that you just don't think it's ever going to go away. And when it goes away, it's shocking, especially because they asked for discretion about this, and everybody you respect that. So this was shocking to a lot of folks because they didn't want anyone to know. So, but when it comes, so that's all what it was. Just people, hey, what happened? There were some crazy theories, about it, in my opinion. I mean, like, the parking killed them. Well, no, it wasn't that. So that's all it was. And I wish them the best in their retirement. And it's not a complete retirement because if you know Frank, the owner, he's not one to sit in a rocking chair. So he's still going to do the Bados food truck, but he could do that when he wants, which is what you want to do in retirement, right? He can pick and choose where he goes, when he goes, and how he does it. So, that's what he's chosen to do with his life, and I wish them the best of luck. On Washington Road, Rainiers is reopening the deli, which is exciting news if you're an uptown resident or business person or work up here employed. So they had a very unfortunate situation happen earlier in the year. They've been trying to deal with that. They're now at a point where they have a new chef online and they're ready to reopen their little deli. A lot of people don't even know that it was there. But you can get a sandwich and salads and all kinds of nice little things. So we're really happy for the family and for the business and the community that they're reopening. And then finally, the lease has been signed. I mentioned this, I think, at the last meeting, but been working with a wonderful couple that is going to be opening a business on Broadmoor, which is over by Howe in Sunset Hills, called Wonderful Low Waste Market. So that's going to be opening on Broadmoor, and real excited to have that in the community. If you're not familiar with the concept, basically they have bulk liquids and powder type issues like laundry detergents and soaps and various other things that you can then go and fill a jug with. So it's an eco-forward, eco-thinking business model. There's been one in Squirrel Hill for quite some time called the Refillery that does very well. They've been in farmers markets. This particular group, our group, Wonderful, has been working in the farmers markets, building up a clientele, building brand awareness. And, they're spinning out now into a business on Broadmoor. So real excited for that. They're hoping to open as soon as possible, but they have some work to do. But that should be opening very soon. But you can go there and get bar soap too. There's little gifts. It's not just jugs on a wall. I mean, there's other things. So it'll be pretty interesting. So when that opens up, I'll be sure and let you know. And please give them a visit and tell your friends about it. It's truly a destination business, and I think that location can work for them because of that. So that is happening. Vinyl Remains is opening up Vintage Remains, which will be a home furnishing, like retro curated home furnishing retail shop. And I talked to him yesterday, and he's real close to opening. So I'm hoping he can be open for a holiday market, and that's his goal too. So hopefully he'll have that storefront activated. No, there's nothing going into Poco Loco yet. Yeah, so those are probably the best things I can talk about. Does anybody have any questions about any of that stuff?
Have you, sorry, this is Amy. Have you mentioned, or is this still under wraps, the IVN? I know there's a lot of activity over there.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not under wraps.
Okay,
So I can talk about that for sure. Yeah, so the building was purchased, so the family that owned the IVN wanted to retire as well. And so they sold the building, and that was purchased by a couple. And he works in the construction trades, and she is a stylist. So they bought the building. He is renovating it. If you've driven past there, it's making some good progress after some bumps. But so it's starting to frame out literally, and it'll be a salon and nail salon and hair.
thanks.
Any other questions about commercial district stuff, like stuff that everybody seems to be the most interested in when when I speak or when I go anywhere? Cool. Any new business, anything anybody wants to bring for the good of the order? Then I will. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I mean that sincerely. And Stacy, if you're on there, do you want to gavel us out?
Yeah, call the
Adjourn.
meeting, adjourn the meeting. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay,
Yes.
sorry.
We have a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Bye.
Have a good one.
Thanks, you too. Take care.